Welcome to Zorpazorp Gaming. My name's Lachie and it must be 2008 because every couple of months we're getting a new book for the Lord of the Rings strategy battle game. So late last year we had the new edition drop, which was absolutely amazing, and it's been phenomenal in the Lord of the Rings community ever since. And now we have the new supplement, the first supplement of the new edition, Gondor at War for the Middle-earth strategy battle game. And to boot, we've also got some new models. We've been seeing a few models drop over the last couple of months since the new edition, but this is our first kind of big supplement pack, as well as a couple of big juicy heroes themed to that supplement. It really makes me feel like it is the old days. No plastic boxes of troops just yet, but if we keep getting amazing editions like this and the community keeps growing, who knows what is on the horizon. So, just like we did with the Battle of the Pelennor Fields box set, I thought I would let you guys experience me going through all this stuff for the first time. I literally just picked this all up from my local Games Workshop. I haven't even opened Gondor War. Okay, that's a lie. I had a peek at the table of contents so I didn't look like a complete idiot, but that's it. So we're going to have a little flick through this. I won't show you guys too much because obviously I don't want to give everything away, but we'll just have a little bit of a look at what the book contains, the sort of things that that it's going to be offering to the community, what it brings to our our gameplay, both competitively and narratively. And then of course we've got a couple of little goodies that have come out this Saturday as well. Beautiful new 3 hunters, the kind of latest iteration of these incredible plastic sculpts we've been getting. So we're going to have a look at them nice and close. And then of course another dice set because dice sets are awesome and I love them, and they seem to be kind of coming out regularly with every little new burst of models that have come out. We've got some cool dice, and these are 3 hunters dice set which are themed around the whole release of what's coming out. So super exciting stuff. Where shall we start? I think we better start with Gondor at War. It's certainly bringing a lot to the table. Straight off the bat we can see that it is a gorgeous gloss finish hardcover, just like all of the new edition books have been. The nice big armies book, the rule book, and of course Battle Companies, which I guess was sort of the first wave. Looks really nice finish. It's about slightly bigger than Battle Companies, but smaller than an armies book or the rule book itself. And I think in the price range, it's sort of just less expensive than a rule book. So a little bit more pricey than Battle Companies, but I think it's going to be worth it. It's going to have some great stuff in it. And as we can sort of start to flick through it, you'll see that it's got all of that beautiful graphic design that we've seen go into the new edition, really on theme, and some really gorgeous color printing. So looking really lovely. Oh, new book smells good. So let's jump into what this book is going to offer. Now, right off the bat, all the info that we've seen coming out of the Warhammer community page is that this is Gondor at War, a narrative supplement themed around Gondor's kind of whole sphere of war, particularly around the War of the Ring, Battle of the Pelennor Fields, Ithilien, the Osgiliath. So right up my alley, as I'm sure you guys will know. So I'm super excited, especially to get some of all this terrain that's hidden in the curtain behind me into all these juicy scenarios, which brings us to our first point. So the book has got a huge offering of scenarios to satisfy all of the narrative players within us. I believe it is 29 narrative scenarios. Let's have a look at the table of contents, and of course they're not numbered. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's 29 narrative scenarios, which is definitely the most amount of scenarios we've ever had in any supplement. We used to get quite a lot when all these little kind of smaller iterations came out, like a Shadow in the East and Siege of Gondor, Gondor in Flames, all our kind of cool little story elements, but never 29 at once, which is incredibly exciting. As for their content, as you can imagine, it covers a lot of awesome Gondor stuff. So let's have a little flick through and just have a look. Oh, we've got a little history of Gondor section. That's nice. We like to kind of situate everything within the lore, especially new players who are coming who aren't the biggest kind of Tolkien buffs and might not know all of Gondor's backstory, the kin strife, their history with Umbar. It's always nice to have a bit of that section. So off the bat, we're starting in Osgiliath. We've got a couple of Osgiliath themes, which is nice. I love Osgiliath scenarios, as you guys know, but also there's a lot that happened there. The push and pull between Mordor and Gondor. Ambush in Ithilien, an absolute classic. Always good to see that stuff here. Oh, we've got some stuff down in the south, the raiding of Pelagia. We don't see a lot of Pelagia stuff, so that's pretty awesome to see, particularly when we've got, some kind of Corsair themed stuff, I'm going to guess we're seeing, as well as a bit of dock play. We love a bit of dock play, and Pelagia is a gorgeous place down in the south as well. So now we're into another big Osgiliath scenario, and it looks like this scenario depicts the kind of main battle that happens there as Gondor cede the entire city to Mordor's forces in the the beginning of the Siege of Minas Tirith, which is always a really important battle. We love to see that one in there, and now we can start to see that we're moving into those Siege of Minas Tirith scenarios. We've got, you know, Faramid's charge attempting to retake Osgiliath. We've got a siege mission on the top of the walls. We've got some stuff about the gatehouse, which is good. We love gatehouse action in the streets of Minas Tirith. So we can sort of see that Jay and the guys have kind of taken that approach of breaking down a massive battle, which is the Siege of Minas Tirith, and putting it into these more little bite-sized chunks that create really great scenarios. In the older days, in kind of much older supplements, we'd often get these massive battles that were often quite unwieldy, and then when we had the journey books come out, Fellowship, Two Tales, and Return of the King, we started to see this new tactic of breaking things down into those smaller chunks, and it works really well because it keeps the scenarios pretty free-flowing, and it allows them to be a bit more manageable, which is really exciting. And of course, you know, to counterpoint that, big battles are also really awesome, and we've just seen a whole lot of really epic big battles come out in the armies books as well. So it's nice to see some real detail paid to, you know, what essentially is the most important battle of the Third Age. So lots of Minas Tirith action. What the hell is this? We have a mini game. A mini-game that involves a deck of cards, I think. Okay, that's interesting. Something to do with the Witch King's arrival. Yeah, wow, okay. Blah, 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 blah. Interesting, I have no idea what the hell that's about. Looks like it's some sort of way to explore... Okay, I need to fucking... What the hell is it? Okay, what the actual fuck is it? For this minigame, you require a deck of ordinary playing cards. Okay, Lord of the Rings themed playing cards. Games Workshop, can you get on this, please? I'm not playing this scenario with normal playing cards. That's disgusting. Okay, this is something we've definitely never seen before. This entire scenario is represented by some sort of minigame that uses a deck of cards and some power tokens to essentially explore the Witch King versus Gandalf kind of fight up in the city of Minas Tirith. Very interesting stuff. I'm certainly going to have a flick through that a bit later on and see how that all works, but something very different that we have never seen before in a supplement, and now we're into our beautiful Pelennor Field stuff. Charge of the Rohirrim, of course the Denethor scenario. This is all screaming of those gorgeous old scenarios from Siege of Gondor and Gondor in Flames. Really exciting stuff, and we've got a lot of scenarios dedicated to all the little kind of microcosms on the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. And another minigame! What is with these minigames? Wow, more decks of cards. Okay, we've got to be seeing some sort of Lord of the Rings Middle-earth strategy battle game deck of cards coming out. I mean, this is next level. I wonder if we're going to see more of this in the future, kind of more alternate minigame style elements. They definitely still use miniatures, but it's not played with the traditional SBG rules. Certainly something to check out. And something we will be checking out because, of course, I'm obviously going to play through every one of these scenarios in an epic 29-long series battle report campaign thing. So stay tuned for that. And then we've got, yeah, once again, some more epic scenarios focusing on all of the kind of tail end of the Pelennor Fields, the dead arriving. We've got Gothmog on Eowyn action with Aragorn and Gimli. Yeah, this is phenomenal. And then the final arc of the narrative scenarios is a couple of scenarios dedicated purely to the Black Gate, which I find really interesting because they've broken it down into sort of one kind of initial Black Gate scenario, and then they've got the left hill and the right hill as two separate scenarios because, of course, in the battle at the Black Gate, there were two sort of hillocks that stood out on that central plain in front of the Black Gate itself, and we had kind of two forces garrisoning down on those hills as they were encircled by Mordor's forces, which is something really cool and really kind of historical and lore-y that's been reflected in scenario form. So that is super exciting stuff. So that is a lot of epic scenarios that I cannot wait to sink our teeth into here on the channel. 29! It's going to be absolutely mental. Yes, look forward to a huge battle report series dedicated to those. And now we move on to the second part of the Gondor War book, which directly relates to the first, and that's the Gondor War campaign system. So basically, it's a book that's given you 29 scenarios and then decided, hey, you know what? We all like to play those scenarios in a journey that's relevant to each other, similar to the old journey book stories or all the campaigns that we've all played and loved, and what Jay and the guys have done have made a specific linking system between all the scenarios, which looks like basically each scenario you play is different depending on how the outcomes of your campaign have gone so far. For instance, we've got the Ride of the Fiefdom scenario here, scenario number 19, and there's a different outcome for the good or evil victory. So if good won in the Grief of Aomer scenario, which is scenario number 18, the good player may deploy Imrahil, Hurin the Tall, and the Knights of Tol Amroth, touching the western board edge. However, if the evil won the Grief of Aomer scenario, the good player's reinforcements arrive at the end of the second good move phase. So as you can see, the results of scenarios have a tangible effect on the next scenario you're playing, which is absolutely epic because one, it makes games change. Awesome. You feel like as a player you're having an impact on the story and you're being involved. You're not just rolling dice, you're not just a conduit for chance, but also it allows replayability because, you know, good and evil might win different scenarios each time you play through this campaign, which is going to change it up, and it means that everyone's experience, apart from the fact that we're all different, we all play differently, but down from the scenario element, everyone's experience is going to be different. So that is super exciting. The third and final section is all about armies and units, which is tremendously exciting. There's a lot of juicy stuff in here. Basically, the section kind of outlines, first up, each of the separate factions that are involved in this whole kind of Gondor War campaign, and then it details all of the unit profiles for those units that have been added since the army book. Now, a lot of these we know, like Hurin and Ingold, but there's some new ones in here which we don't have yet, and we know we're going to get, which is super exciting. So straight off the bat, obviously, you know I'm a big Rohan boy. We've already seen some pictures come out of the Warhammer community page for Dernhelm, which is a model that represents Eowyn in disguise, riding with Merry to the Battle of the Pelennor, and it's got some absolutely incredible rules that represents both of those players, or both of those models, sort of on the one horse, and it's the first model ever where passengers are going to be allowed in matched play. Eowyn can use Merry's might points, and I think she gets an extra attack, so it's a totally new Eowyn profile essentially, and then of course you've got the fact that Mary's in there too, so I won't go into detail about her profile or any of these because obviously Games Workshop don't like that, but there's some seriously awesome stuff in here. We've got another 2 Rohan profiles here, one for Elfhelm. Now this is a huge thing for me. I have always bitched about the fact that there is no Elfhelm profile. He is a huge general in the Rohan's army. He's a really important player in the books, and he just got snubbed. For like 19 years, he has been snubbed by Games Workshop. Well, no longer Elfhelm is with us, which is fucking awesome because I love Elfhelm. And we've also got Daewine, who's another awesome kind of minor Rohan character. So 3 new Rohan profiles, which is just going to absolutely totally change my standing match play Rohan army. So I cannot wait to pour through all of this. And then we've got another new hero for the Army of the Dead. Now this is a cool little hero. It's sort of like a mini hero because obviously we've got the Army of the Dead and then the Horde, and that's it. So these guys are called the Herald of the Dead, and they're a bit of a lower tier kind of hero, and they've got some cool kind of synergies with the King of the Dead as well. Obviously they've got Spectral Walk and Blades of the Dead and all that extra stuff, but essentially if they're within 3 inches of the King of the Dead can spend their will points instead of his own to declare heroic actions as if he was spending one of his own might points, which is like a huge fucking play that is going to synergize really well. So super exciting stuff there. Now we've also got the 2 new Mordor models that we know, Guritz and Gothmog's Enforcer. They're locked in stone now. Their profiles look awesome. We've all seen those before. But there's also 2 new Mordor profiles as well. Zagdush, who's an Orc captain, and Goroth, who's a captain of the Morannon. So super exciting stuff. Can't wait to check those guys out. We've even got another Serpent Horde profile, or Harad profile, which is Raza, Fang of the Serpent. Now this isn't a model I'm familiar with, I don't know the name of that hero, but it looks like he's some sort of badass warrior who fights with Suladen, and my Harad army can always do with more badass Serpent Lords, so that is exciting stuff. And then to finish us all off, we've got the Mumuk War Leader. He's locked in stone in another profile, and then another Corsair profile profile. Delgamar, the Gate Master of Umbar, which is definitely a new profile. So, super exciting stuff. Delgamar is basically sort of slots right in there with Dalamir and the Arbalesters. So, it's cool to see the Corsairs get a little bit of love because they got a couple of major plays in this campaign with all of the Pelagia scenarios and then fighting the Army of the Dead. So, super awesome stuff. And then we come to the second section of the last part of the book where we talk about Legendary Legions. Now, this is a big one. The Legendary Legions are a really, really cool mechanic. They're custom forces that have a lot of sort of strict rules in how you use them. They're like mini army lists within the factions that combine multiple factions to represent particular historical forces, and basically so that you can play with certain models, still get to take advantages of like army bonuses and all that sort of stuff, and basically you're getting rewarded for playing really themey lists that might not work within the existing ally matrix. So this is huge. Let's have a look at who we've got. Rangers of Ithilien. We saw this one, Warhammer community leaked it out. That's exciting stuff. The Rangers of Ithilien are like one of my favorite armies. When I was a kid, I was always running around in the bush pretending to be Faramir ambushing elephants. So exciting stuff. The Grey Company, yes, awesome. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Rangers of the North, which you guys probably know. So something dedicated to representing the Grey Company, and straight away I can see there's Aragorn and Gimli and Eladon and Elro here in there. So that is an exciting little army that could be very fun to run. The Return of the King. This looks interesting. Okay, so this is about the Army of the Dead leaping off the boats. All about these guys right here, and kind of tying all three hunters essentially in with the Army of the Dead. Exciting stuff. That's what we love. The Riders of Theoden, a big juicy Rohan list. Obviously, this represents the Ride of the Pelennor and the whole Rohan host that assailed the forces of Mordor. So that's super awesome to see. And the Men of the West. I'm guessing this is a big alliance of everything that was at the Black Gate. So that is really cool as well. Now we're into some evil stuff. I've got the Army of Gothmog. I'm gonna guess that's a big Pelennor Fields Mordor themed force. The Grand Army of the South. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so we've got basically a big mix of Harad and Far Harad and all of the kind of southern armies that were called to Mordor's banner. Very nice indeed. Couple of juicy special rules. We've got the Black Gate open, so that's basically kind of, you know, that mirror to the Men of the West force, but for evil, of course. So that is pretty exciting to see. Could be cool to see a few matchups of these because there's quite a few distinct pairs. And then at the end of the book, we've just got a couple of, you know, gorgeous, gorgeous shots of models because every little section of a Games Workshop product needs a bit of a gallery in there because we all want to get juiced up and go and buy products. So that looks pretty awesome, as I think you guys will agree. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into this. Anzac Day long weekend, I'm just going to curl up and smash through that and have a good read at everything. And I bet you it's going to shake up the meta of match play as well, especially with those legendary legions being able to be fielded in match play, all those new characters. That's certainly going to spice up a lot of people's army lists. And once again, we're seeing this incredible kind of hold to form of rewarding theme and rewarding fluff with bonuses and special rules, and I think that's awesome to see that the guys are continuing that approach because it is wonderful for the game. Right, that's Gondor War out of the way. Let's jump into new toys. What do we got here? The Three Hunters. And this is a pretty cool little box set. Now, we're not seeing any massive miniature releases just yet. We're just seeing, you know, these wonderful little heroes and things, but I think at this point that's totally okay. We shouldn't be upset by that. What we need to do is make sure that we get psyched about this and really support this, because if these kind of small hero releases come out and keep coming out throughout the next couple of years, it's something really easy and manageable for Games Workshop rather than, you know, a big roll of the dice of creating the new plastic troops that we all want and love. But it's manageable for them, it's minimal risk, and if we show that we as a community grow and support that, then we might get to see even bigger and better stuff in the future. But let's get into the models. So let's rip this guy open. Alright, what have we got in here? Some instructions, we don't need those, and a couple of bases, and some sprues. Now look at these. Once again, there is like zero negative space. Gone are the days of Games Workshop sprues with big kind of vacant areas. It's really crammed full of detail. And the first thing that's kind of leaping out at me is there are so many pieces. Everything is broken up into really tiny parts. I'll put that up there for you guys to have a look at. You can see that there's, you know, a leg and an arm and a half a torso. There's no kind of big single model poses. It's even more multi-part than the Theoden sprue, which we thought was pretty multi-part at the time. and perhaps that's sort of part of this whole new plastic molding process. Straight off the bat, you can see that the detail is so crisp and really high kind of resolution. It looks really sharp, and maybe that's part of why everything's such small pieces. It allows them to get really nice detail, but it looks absolutely amazing. Oh my god, look at Gimli's beard! Wow, he looks incredible. Even the tiny little kind of strands of hair plaits through his beard, they look absolutely epic. And also, there's little axes everywhere. Now there's Gimli's big axe, which presumably goes on his back, but also he's got little throwing axes. Okay, this is phenomenal. Each of Gimli's axes are a separate piece that you can position on his belt wherever you want them. Like, what is this, 40k? That's amazing. We've never had this level of posing before, and it looks like Leggie's kind of arrow is completely separate, so you can knock it. Wow. Okay, these look absolutely stunning. Great work on the capes as well. They've got a lot of kind of dynamic kind of fabric movement. That is tremendously exciting. And we've even got a little counter thing, which I'm guessing must be for priority, maybe. There's a 3 hunters symbol on one side and then a little Sauron symbol on the other. So that's pretty cool as well. Man, I'm super stoked on those. They look absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to sort of see them all glued together. The only sort of criticism we saw a little bit online was that they looked a little bit stocky. They're kind of chubby in some respects. We sort of saw that with some of the other releases as well, like Theoden and Gandalf. But once you get the models in the flesh, they don't look like that at all. I think it's that because they've been sort of posed so dynamically, the particular front angle that they've been taken from doesn't really kind of show their whole 3D space justice, and with the kind of swirling fabrics and things, those models look like they're going to be pretty awesome. Obviously, we'll see once it's all tied together, but they don't look overly kind of stocky or kind of large. To me, they look kind of nice and slim, which is awesome. Now, the last thing, of course, is our beautiful new dice set. I love dice. These are absolutely badass. Another addition to the collection. I love having dice for specific characters. It feels like good luck using the right dice and all that kind of thing. And we've got a really cool kind of themey symbol on the 6, which has got a bow, an axe, and a sword, representing, of course, our 3 hunters. And we've still got this really nice solid color pearlescent finish, and this is a much darker green than the Rohan dice, which is cool, so you'll still be able to tell them apart. So, it's been an awesome day, I think. Gondor War has knocked my socks off, or at least looks like it's going to knock my socks off when I finally get to jump in and read it all. We've got some great new models, new dice, absolutely awesome. Are you guys excited about all of this stuff? I certainly am. If you are, let me know down in the comments below. And stay tuned, because we are definitely going to smash out a gorgeous Gondor War campaign over the next coming weeks. I think there's a lot of epic, juicy stuff to play through. Maybe we'll get Ori back, or a couple of the other guys, and bring them in for different armies. It should be really exciting, create some really sweet content there, which you guys should enjoy. So if you're psyched about that, let me know. If you've got any other questions or you've got any other thoughts on the new releases, let us know down in the comments. And give the video a like if you've enjoyed watching. And if you're new around here, feel free to check out the rest of the channel. We've got loads of Middle-earth strategy battle game stuff, lots of terrain, lots of battle reports, and we have so much more on the way. 2019 is going to be huge for Middle-earth at Zorpazorp. We've got so much epic stuff planned. So subscribe if you're new around here. Feel free to check out our Patreon if you want to support the channel. All the links are down in the description. And thank you so much for basically just watching me gush over all this new Middle-earth excitement for the last, I don't know, half an hour probably. I've been rambling a while. So, we'll see you next time here at Zorpazorp Gaming. In the meantime, keep on SBG gaming. Cheers, guys.